Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel for another video. Today we're going to be talking about the top pens and highlighters that I think are the most ideal on Tomoe River paper and for your Hobonichi. So currently I have in front of me my B6 Sterling Ink Common Planner, which has Tomoe River paper like all throughout, and I also have my little A6 Hobonichi planner, and we're going to be doing some testing. So we're going to be taking a look at some of the best highlighters in my opinion, as well as the best pens, gel pens, all the things. I have them in 10 different categories. So if you were wondering what are some of the best pens and markers for Tomoe River paper, then this video is going to be for you. So let's dive right in. I should also mention that this is a collaboration that we're doing with Brittany from Plan Your One Life. She is going to be releasing her video as well, just giving her take on what are some of the best pens and markers for Tomoe River paper. So I will leave her video link down in the description, so you can also just check that out. But here's where we're at. We're going to be breaking things down into, I broke them down into fountain pens, markers, ballpoint pens, brush pens, highlighters, and gel pens. So we kind of have a little bit of everything. I have a lot of pens. I do have a lot of highlighters. Not everything works really great on Tomoe River paper. That is a tongue twister. Tomoe River paper. Here we go. Keep in mind, color-wise and color payoff-wise, it's going to be a little bit different because the B6 planner from Sterling, the common planner from Sterling Ink has white paper. So I'll just show you like a blank page so you understand what I'm saying. So obviously this is white. Color-wise, the pages within the A6 planner from the Hobonichi A6 size planner, this is also white or white-ish. And then I'm not really going to be going into like how to do color matching with like the cream colored one in Hobo Weeks, because as many of you know, the Hobonichi Weeks, as well as I feel like the cousin as well, has a slight tint to it. So for now, we're just literally going to be covering what is the best medium for these papers. So let's begin first with, actually, let me just start a separate page. So the first kind of category that I wanted to kind of go into, and I think I'm just going to go straight into, just go straight from what's actually closest to me. The first ones that I wanted to talk about is actually highlighters. So these are my liners, and I really like them. I think that depending on the color of your paper, it will kind of depend on like how strong it will kind of show up. I have a few colors here. These two are from the, I believe these are like the neutrals line. If I find which collection they're from, I will just pop it right on the screen. But let's just do some swatching. But as you can tell, they dry really quickly, which is one of the things that I absolutely love about it. And I never really had like any issues with it. Let me just get you guys zoomed in. I don't know, I think that like with mild liners, they are so popular because they're just such a fantastic product regardless of the paper that you're using. Like I end up using this in both my personal size ring planner as well as here as well. I don't use highlighters nearly as much as I used to, but if you're looking for an awesome highlighter, this would be one of them. Another great selection that's also sort of like widely accepted within the planning community is the Tombow pens. Tombow brush pens are versatile because they also show up relatively faint. They're not really bold, well, depending on the colors that you pick. So here I just have like one of the faintest colors, but I mean, I bought like a ton of collections back in the day. So this one is more of a darker gray. It just kind of gives you a nice consistent line. It doesn't take up too much space. So for that reason, I think that these make fantastic highlights. You can also hand letter with them if you really want to. It does become a little bit more challenging to kind of control it because it creates such bold, chunky letters. But if that's the look that you're going for, then I think it would be a fantastic choice. Now, staying within the brush lettering and staying with Tombow, the other thing that's really great from Tombow for Tomoe River paper, Actually, before we do that, let me just also swatch it in the A6. Hang on. So here are the mild liners. It looks actually like, if you're comparing the colors, they will show up really similarly. They're basically almost identical. So as you can tell, this is super faint, but it's sort of like, that's the look that that marker is going for. Okay, so staying with, let's talk about the next category. So staying with Tombow and with like brush lettering and brush pens, the one thing that I absolutely can't live without is actually, this is their Tombow brush pen that they have. Oh, I love this so much. And I prefer to use, they have two different kinds within this line. They have the hard tip or the soft tip. I personally prefer the soft tip because it just gives me a lot more control, especially if you're left-handed, then you totally know what I mean. It doesn't really give you ghosting, at least not too much. Like if I'm looking back on the previous page, you can kind of tell. You can't really tell, you know what I mean? But I really love that it gives you the control. If you choose to, you know, if you want to use brush lettering, then this would be a fantastic choice. Now let's move on to what are the pens that would be really great for like literally just writing within your planner. So now we kind of have like the accessory. I consider these accessory pens because I don't consider them essential for you to actually use your planners. Some of the essentials that literally I can't really live without these. I use them every single day are the Sarasas. So I have both. So these two are from the Sarasa vintage collection. So as you can tell, they're slightly different looking than this guy. This is the Sarasa clip in 0.5. And this is also the Sarasa clip, but this came as a kit of like all vintage colors. So if you wanted to have like fun colors, but they're still kind of muted, I would go with these guys. I'll just show you how they perform. I love the fact that they dry pretty quickly. I really never really have much issues with it. And they look great. So I really like the fact that, again, there's no ghosting. If you wanted to have like that gel-like look, then the Sarasas are always going to be like your best friend when it comes to that. With the black one, it's an intense black, as you can tell. It's one of those blacks where if you wanted everything to kind of pop on the page, then you would end up using this color. And you would end up using the 0.5. Now, same thing, the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of with this black one is that sometimes I find that it doesn't dry as quickly and then there can be some smudging, but for the most part, it's pretty good. Let's take a look at it here. Pretty consistent. Again, I have so many different colors from them. I also like the fact that if you are left-handed, and I think that we need to kind of talk about that. We need to address that because when you're left-handed, you hold your pen at a different angle than when you're right-handed. So I personally found that the pens that other people were really raving about, I couldn't really use them all that much because like a lot of like needlepoint pens, I couldn't really use them. I couldn't really enjoy them all that much because of the way that like the angle that I'm actually using my pens. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, let's move on to the next category. The next category is going to be more gel pens. So these are ideal if you want to make both notes in your planner or if you wanted to color coordinate them. If you want like subtle colors and you wanted like a little bit more of a subtle look than these guys, then your Uni 1 pens are going to be your best pen. So this is the Uni Ball 1. This is in a 0.38. I have both the 0.38 and the 0.5 in some of the colors. Now, I don't have all of them, you know what I mean? But I just have, some of them are in the 0.38. So this one happens to be in a 0.38. This is in the color, just in the color peach. So I really love this because it's, again, subtle highlighting. I don't love it for writing for that reason. Not all of the colors are fantastic for writing. This one is, this one is a 0.5. This is actually a more recent purchase for me. And this is in a color cappuccino brown. As you can tell, like the color kind of flows a little bit better. And also it's a little bit easier to write with it. I don't know, I find that both this and I think I have the rose gold as well, even though I really love the color, but I find that some of the colors, they're more good for just highlighting rather than writing with it. This is in the color, what are you? Memophila Blue. I really love this. This is actually one of my favorite colors. And for good reason, it looks absolutely stunning. Then we get into a little bit more bolder colors. So this one is in like this bright green. And again, like sometimes you don't want to use highlighters. Sometimes you're happy with just simply using a pen and just color code it. And I do that all the time. And this one is in like a bright red. Right? Now in the common planner, let's take a look at the same swatches. So again, like I don't use this particular color particularly for writing, but I love using this for just color coding. But again, if you're looking for like a super bright, beautiful color, this would be it. And it literally it pops right off the page. And same thing with the red. Like look how beautiful and bold it is. And if it starts skipping, a lot of times for me, it's very common for them to skip because of the way that I'm, again, the angle that I'm using the pen. So don't hold it against the brand. Next up, I wanted to talk about something that like I don't see too many people talk about, but they're like so good. And they are the fine tip. These are fine liners from Staedtler. They're called the Staedtler Tri Plus Fine Liner. Now, I have like a full collection from these, and if you actually go onto JetPens, I would just insert a clip here where you can actually find this information. You can search what are like the best what are the pens that would perfectly color coordinate with your Hobonichi. So if you're looking at some of these tabs, right? Not so much in this one, because this one is just black and orange. But remember last year when they had like all of these different funky colors, and then if you wanted to kind of match that with your marker, they literally had like the perfect matching of the Hobonichi. But anyway, I'll just show you guys a few colors so that you can see why they are awesome. Again, they don't skip. I don't believe that they do any ghosting. No, there's no ghosting. So if you didn't want to use pens, then this would be your next best bet. I didn't really buy these as individual colors. I honestly, I just bought it as a kit. So I'm just going to show you like some of the ones that I just had at hand. But I think that these would be awesome when you're, I don't know, like if you're like scheduling events like on a weekly view, or if you're doing finances and you wanted to kind of, again, color coordinate, then this would be like ideal for that. They're pretty consistent of like how they write. Like there isn't really like that discrepancy between like the different colors and whatnot. Let's take a look at how they perform in the Hobonichi. Again, like I knew about these markers, but I kind of just forget about them, honestly. If I don't have them on my desk, I don't reach for them. So that's on me. But maybe after this video that will change, because they are actually really good. The funny thing is that for this mustard color, I actually have a fountain pen ink that matches that color. Isn't that funny? Look how nice that is. Okay. Another brand that, again, it doesn't get talked about too much. This is still staying with Uni. Uni does have a lot of really amazing products to speak of. These come in kits. Now I only grabbed 2, but I'm just grab the actual. I'm just gonna grab like an actual set so I can show you like a nice variety of. I'm gonna show you like a nice variety of colors. So these are the Uni Emmet pens. I actually own 2 different kits from Uni. First of all, I love the fact that when you purchase it, it comes with its own little, let me just zoom out for a moment. So it comes with its own little standee. So it just kind of clips right in. So right from the get-go, like this is kind of where you're starting out from. Like this is how it comes. It comes with its own little stand, which is really cool. And then you can just kind of take them out and you can literally just leave this on your desk if you wanted to. I love them for multiple reasons. Obviously, like the colors are nice and muted and they're beautiful. I think that you can write really, again, it pops enough for you to make a difference, right? But they're not like in your face. Like you can write with them if you really wanted to. I don't know, I really love these colors. And again, if you don't own a Hobonichi, I mean right now like we're talking about that, I used to use these actually in my other planner as well, in my ring bound planner. So I highly recommend these because they are soft enough to, like they're not so bold that they look weird on a spread. Right? Isn't that nice? And they're similar, but they're, as you can tell, like if you kind of look closely, these are a lot softer than the ones from Staedtler. Let me show you how they look like in the common planner. We'll just swatch the same fun colors. They're fun, but they're like muted. You know what I mean? And moving on to another really popular, like almost like a cult favorite within the planning community are the Muji pens. And I'm sort of recommending this with like a warning, because Muji pens are fantastic on Tomoe River paper. They're fantastic on literally on any paper actually, which is one of the reasons why I love them. I love the fact that they come in multiple colors. You can literally buy like all the colors of the rainbow from a Muji pen kit. But my only recommendation would be is if you buy these, don't buy them in, so this is in 0.38 and it works fine. Actually, I picked up one that I don't actually like. Hang on, let me grab the black one. So it depends on the look that you're going for, okay? When it comes to these pens, these are very like clean and crisp and thin. So compare that to the one that we did with the Sarasa. Sarasa is very bold. It's in your face. Keep in mind, this is a point, so this would be a 0.38 thickness, and this is a 0.5. But even between that, just that little bit of a jump in the thickness in the tip, that makes that much of a difference. Now, because of how delicate the paper is on Tomoe River paper, I would actually recommend that you go bolder if you're going with the Muji pens. This is also in 0.38. So it's awesome if you want, like, if you write really small, then you will love this. If you want a little bit more boldness, a little bit more in your face, then I would actually opt for the 0.5 thickness. And this is it in green. Again, like if you want like really beautiful bright colors, then, and you want it to be like something that kind of stands out from the page, and you want it to write really thin, really like delicate lines, then the Muji pens are absolutely amazing for that. I'll show you what they look like also in the Hobonichi. But it's like a love-hate relationship. It depends on if that's the look that you're going for. But as you can tell, like I can kind of stand up my pen. Let me zoom out. And I can have that specific look, you know what I mean? So like I'm not holding the pen like sideways. I'm literally going with the tip just because it's so... Some people say that it can get scratchy. I never really noticed it. The only time that I noticed that the pen gets kind of scratchy against the paper is when it's actually running out of ink. But I mean, like, look at the tip and then you'll kind of see why. Maybe you're zooming in. Anyway, I wanted to kind of throw that in because they're just as much of a cult favorite as the Sarasa pens. I like the Sarasas a little bit more. It's a little bit more gentler on the paper, a little bit more forgiving, but nevertheless, I wanted to mention it. And of course, the most obvious one, which I kind of should have started with this, but I wanted to kind of leave the best for last, is fountain pens. So fountain pen ink looks absolutely stunning on Tomoe River paper. So let's take a look. I mean, most of my spreads are actually written with fountain pens. I don't necessarily, it's really rare. If you look back on, hang on, let me zoom out. So if we're looking at my previous spreads in my planner, I generally use fountain pens. Sometimes I use my Sarasa. But besides that, let's get you zoomed in so you see what I mean. And I've been really enjoying the Kaweco Sport pens because, and this is in a fine nib, because it just glides. So again, it just has like a different look. I'll show you the pen that I'm using right now for like my daily spreads. If you haven't seen the currently inked video, I will just put it in the cards and you can check that out. But yeah, I love this because it has a unique look. And sometimes I crave, sometimes I want my spreads to look like this. but for the most part, I really gravitate towards that look, that soft look of the fountain pen. I also love the versatility of the fountain pens. So there's just so much to be said about fountain pens. When you know, you know. If you're just brand new and you just got like your first Hobonichi ever, maybe like fountain pens might be like really intimidating, because there's like a whole world of fountain pens out there. So then if you're just looking for like just normal pens, then you kind of have a few options. And I know that there's a lot more, obviously there's a lot more choices out there than just what I'm covering. These are just like some of the ones that I have in my collection that I know work really awesome with the Tombow River paper. But at least like it kind of gives you an idea. The reason, like if you're looking at why fountain pen ink, again, that can be a whole other video all in and of itself. But when I'm looking at the colors, hopefully the camera is kind of picking it up. Can you see the color variation? That's from that fountain pen ink. So I really love the fact that I can kind of not only switch out my fountain pen inks, but I can get inks that has like that variance in there, which is something that I haven't really been able to find within any of the other pens that I've shown you. But if you're just simply asking yourself, what are some of the pens that are awesome on this paper that will not get weird, it will not skip, it will not bleed through, and it will just kind of glide on the page, then honestly any of the choices that I've shown you up to this point is going to be ideal. So this is essentially all I wanted to show you guys. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. Go and check out Brittany's video. I'm going to leave the link for her video in the description. Say hello to her, tell her that I sent you. And if you love videos just like this one, please let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what pen you're actually using for your Tombow River paper planner. I would actually love to know. Maybe I can get some new recommendations from you guys that I never really thought of. But in the meanwhile, if you love this video, support the channel by subscribing, by hanging out with me here every single week. We talk at least a couple of times a week, and we have a vlog update generally every single week. If you want to continue to support the channel, you can also hunt me down on Patreon, where I offer exclusive behind the scene footage. We're also working on creating some little Happy Meal goodies for you guys. So take a look, see if it resonates. If it does, I would love to have you in the community. If it doesn't, no big deal. I'm so grateful that you're just here hanging out with me every single week. And in the meanwhile, just keep planning, keep journaling, keep doing all the things and enjoying all of these awesome tools. And I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye.